So Sonia knew that in order to draw a circle, she could freehand it, but she also knew that if there was a single point and she would measure using anything, in this case I'm using a little pin, the same distance going around and around from that little dot in the center, she would eventually be able to link all of those little lines together to be able to make a circle. Now, a long time ago, someone decided, oh, instead of doing that, because that seems a little bit annoying, what if we use what's called a compass? Now, you may have seen one of these lying around your house before, and what it is that there's kind of a pointy end on that compass, and the pointy end goes on the little dot in the center, and then you can change the distance between the pencil point and the sharp point so that you can make different size circles. The only thing is sometimes they're annoying, the compass moves. You can, if you even have like a pencil or a paintbrush or anything at home, I like using the eraser end of a pencil. You can hold that down over a paper clip and just spin a paper clip around your pencil. You can even open it up and bend it so that you can have different sizes. Here I'm just making sure that I put my pencil in the center in the same point so that all of my circles will be what we call concentric, one perfectly inside the other. You can also do it if you have a piece of cardboard or something that you can press a pin into, something that's sharp, and let it hold it. You can take a wire and do the same thing, that you would just bend the wire to the length that you want. You could open it back up, bend it again, and just keep doing that until you have a whole bunch of circles. You could also have used a pencil eraser in the center to hold it in the middle as well. And lastly, I usually like making string. If I even need a really, really big circle, I'll have Mr. Heat Dirks hold it in the center, like with a broom handle or something, and then I'll use a big rope and I'll twirl it around to make it. Now this is our compass. If you can't read the words, that means it's upside down. You need to be able to see where it says compass. The next thing is that we are going to be securing it with a pin, and the pin will always go in the middle. Now if your pin is flopsy-mopsy, you're going to want to make sure that you can get that in there a little bit harder. Miss Nicole and I will be around, but some kids were just, once they knew they had it in the spot, they would use their palm to actually push it in there. And if you wiggle it around and it seems firm, you're going to be great. Now for initially, you're not going to use any of this stuff in that white circle, even though it looks fascinating. We're going to stay away from that. And instead, you're going to choose any one of the dots on the orange. You'll put in your pencil, and you are just going to twirl it around just like that, and it will make your first circle. You might be dying to lift it up and see what you did and blah, 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 but please don't, because it's going to make your pin fall out. Your next job is to find a hole that's further away. Now, I saw some kids doing this. That's backwards. I saw some kids doing this. Don't do that. You want it in through the hole in the center. Another thing that I saw was that kids got their pin all the way in, and then they went, oh no, I didn't put it through the center hole. Grr. So make sure when you put your pin in for the first time that you put it through the center hole, and then you're going to be ready to go. One last thing, if you're just like, but can I use the stuff in the middle? Well, for smaller circles, if you put the pin in the middle and hold on to the orange part, that little white part will spin. And you can put it in those tiny little holes. They're kind of annoying. You'll see what I mean. But you'll probably be able to get them to work to make some tiny circles. And you can even use those little templates there to line it up in the hole in the center to make a teeny tiny hole just like that. Now, today, the first thing you're going to do is draw a line. It can be straight up and down. It can be sideways. And then you're going to just randomly put a dot on your line. I just chose 2. You can do 3. You can have 2 lines, but probably not any more than that. Once you have your first dot, you're going to put your pin through that center hole right onto the little dot that's on the paper, and you're going to begin to make circles inside of circles. Now here you'll notice I only did half of a circle. That was one of Sonia's tricks that she liked to do, where she would color only half of it, or she would only make half of a circle on one side. And I'm just going bigger and bigger until I reach the side of my page. I don't want to focus on just being in the middle. Next, I'm going down to my lower little dot, lining up the center of my compass, and now I'm starting to make some more circles. Now this is where you have to be a little bit smart because you don't want to run into your other circles. I've decided to move my compass to another spot because I'm wanting to make some bigger ones that go all the way to the edge. So I'm just making sure to not go over the circles I already drew. I'm even going off the paper sometimes. That's great. If you can figure out how to get yours to go off the paper, that's going to look awesome. So here's another way of doing it. I could have had a line going sideways, or maybe even having two, and then just choosing a few points. Here again, I just made two little dots. And now I'm going to line up my compass, put the pin through the center, and now I'm going to start to twirl. And you guys today are going to be able to make a whole bunch of different combinations. It might be a little frustrating at first, but once you've got the hang of it, you're going to be making circles like nobody's business. Now, notice again how the circle does not have to be completely on the paper. The circle can go off to the side if you like. It can go, we just kind of don't want to overlap it. Here I'm doing a smaller circle off to the side here, and just stopping when I hit the other circle. So now I'm kind of using this painting by Sonia as an inspiration to figure out that I'm going to do some smaller ones over on this side. You're basically just trying to avoid making super, super small circles or ones that the lines are super close together that might make it hard to color later on. Now this is a situation where someone was making their circles and they came and they said, I only have these two circles with all these lines. So what we did was we put the pin back in the middle, and then she worked to make her circles, some circles going bigger than just those two in the middle there. You might run into the same thing, and just remember that you can just go ahead and put the compass back where it was the first time and be able to make some larger circles around the edge. And always making sure to have that in place where it's not flopping around so that you can make some that are even larger. So now she's going to be going over to the other side and making a bigger circle over there, just so that it's not that there's only circles to color in the center. That's a good way to get the edges of your paper involved. Now, there are a few things that start to happen. You'll notice that she put her lines pretty close together. That's going to be kind of a pain to color in, but she was up for it, so that's great. What you really want to avoid is overkill, which means that you're just like drawing a million lines, you're whipping around with your compass, you're drawing so many circles, oh, you're putting them all super close together, you're just crazy town. You just keep going and going and going, look at you go, overlapping. That is going to become annoying to color in later on. Now today you're going to be using some awesome markers, and you'll notice on a marker tip that if you hold the marker straight up and down like a ballerina on her toes, you can get a very, very thin line. But the way that they design the tip is that if you turn the marker just a little bit, not like a ballerina, but more on its side, you can get a nice, thick, fat line. And it is so nice if you can figure out how to color using the fat end of that marker. It makes coloring go a lot faster, and I think you'll enjoy it more. So when you color, you're wanting to stay inside your lines, of course. So you're always using the tip to be able to touch the pencil. And notice that I am going to be spinning my paper. It is really annoying to try and color in a circle if you don't spin your paper. Do yourself a favor and just keep spinning, spinning, spinning your paper as you color so that you can end up doing a nice job. Now, notice that when I am detailing, I'm putting the tip towards the pencil. Notice here that if I try and do the other side and I don't turn my paper around, I don't know where the back of the marker is, and I end up going over the line. What you want to do instead is to make sure that you flip it around so that you can always see where the tip is touching the pencil, just like that. And then you can use the fat edge of the marker to finish it off. Now, some of you like to do that little back and forth, back and forth, back and forth coloring. That's fine if you want to do it that way. But it would be nice if you could try to learn how to just slow it down and use the fat end of the marker. It'll look a little bit more professional and it will go faster. So now I'm finishing coloring the inside of this part here. And now I'm ready to move on to color in some more. As you work around your project, it's nice to look at Sonia's artwork and to be able to see how she put different colors next to each other just to kind of make your artwork dance a little bit. You can enjoy all the different color markers that are in there. Just make sure that you're always put the cap back on. And you will not be finishing your artwork today. So whatever you do, just if you're working on an area, make sure to finish it so we don't try and have to find that matching color next week. Now, what happens if you go outside of the line? Do you cry? Do you freak out? No. You could actually just color into up to that next line and just have that section be bigger. Or you just pull out your compass again, put the pin in the middle, line it up with the part where it went outside the line, and just make a new fresh line for you to color in. Then all you have to do is go back in there, and no one will ever know that you went outside your line and it was a mess. You're going to be working as hard as you can, coloring really nicely today. I can't wait to see your Sonia Delaunay inspired rhythm circle drawings.